Hey everyone, I'm Kristen Miglore back with another genius recipe, except for today it's actually two genius recipes. The first one, like always in genius recipes, is going to be from a cookbook author or chef showing us some sort of genius tip or trick that is going to change the way we cook. And then the second one is something that I made up based on that genius trick to show you just how fun this recipe can be to play with at home. The first recipe is going to be a creamy mushroom soup that is completely vegan, and the second one that I made up is going to be a spicy, creamy artichoke soup. This first recipe comes from Wil Yeung's cookbook, Cook with Confidence, and he also has an amazing YouTube channel called Yeung Man Cooking with tons of plant-based recipes. And in this recipe, I love that he is using the whole mushroom, stems and all. So I am just separating out these stems. They just pop right out. It's very satisfying. And before we started shooting, I just quickly rinsed them and dried them off. And then we are going to use all of these stems and half of the mushroom caps in the first part of the recipe, and we don't have to do anything else to them. These ones we're gonna slice thinly, because those are going to show up later on. We're just gonna saute them quickly at the end of the recipe. So I'm using cremini mushrooms for this recipe, and I did get the chance to talk to Wil about the inspiration behind this recipe. So while I finish slicing these, here's Wil to tell you a little bit more about that.
I love soup with a little bit of texture. So it brings another kind of dimension to the enjoyment of it. And of course, with this one, this particular recipe, because it's kind of nostalgic to my childhood, just loved the Korean mushroom soup. Just really reminded me of my childhood. And part of the nostalgia is it has that kind of creamy, silky, velvety texture, along with some kind of mushrooms, but they were itty bitty ones that added a little bit of texture.
And have it be completely vegan, right?
Yeah, plant-based, yeah.
All right, so next we have some onions and garlic, and we barely have to do anything to them at all, which I love because they're going to get blended creamy later. So all we have to do to these garlic cloves is smash them and peel them. Same deal with the onion, just a very rough slice. Here is the first of two genius ingredients that Wil uses to make his vegan soup so creamy. One is a potato. It might not be the most surprising ingredient, but it's what Wil does with it that really surprised me. So he doesn't peel it, which is nice. Less waste, less prep time. He does slice it thinly, and then he rinses it, which is actually really important. And I'll let Wil explain why while I finish thinly slicing this potato.
It just sounds outrageous, but I have definitely made this without rinsing the potatoes, and it has that extra starch. And for some reason, it just gets goopy, the soup anyway, instead of having this silky, smooth texture at the end. I don't know why that little bit of starch does that, but it's imperative that is part of the recipe, is to kind of rinse off that little bit of potato starch. And that's kind of why we slice them as thin as possible, so that we can get as much of that starch gone before blending it.
Everything is prepped, so we can go back to the stove and make our soup. I've heated this stock pot over medium heat. I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of olive oil and then get my onions and garlic cooking. So I'm just gonna cook those until they're starting to turn golden brown, and then I'm gonna throw in the potatoes and mushrooms. We're just gonna cook that for a couple minutes until the potatoes and the mushrooms are getting brown. And one of the things that I love about Wil's recipe is how he treats these mushrooms to get the best possible flavor and texture out of those mushrooms.
I was going for some texture in the soup, just kind of nostalgic, like the Korean mushroom soup from my childhood, but except those were like small little itty bitty pieces of mushrooms. So of course, this is the more gourmet version. So we're going to keep them sliced and looking like an actual mushroom, slices of mushroom. So that's why we kept some of them aside so that we saute them later. That will add that texture for that final soup. And the stalks, there's a lot of flavor in the stalks. I mean, that's kind of where when the mushrooms are grown, that kind of comes out first. So there's a lot of flavor in the stock, so it's really a shame to throw them out. So that's kind of why we kept it, and because we're going to blend the mushrooms in the soup to give the base of the soup this actual mushroom flavor, this deep kind of mushroom flavor. We're basically using the stalks along with some of the caps, because there's just so many stalks, to really get that deep earthy mushroom flavor into the soup, because we're blending with it.
Add some vegetable stock for it to simmer for about 10 minutes. Here's my conundrum with vegetable stock. Homemade is obviously going to taste nice and fresh, and you can make it really easily. Just simmer some vegetable scraps that you've kind of stored up in your freezer for half an hour and you've got something that tastes great. If you don't have that though, I struggle with finding a boxed vegetable stock that doesn't kind of end up taking over the flavor of the soup in the end. So I would rather just use plain water or use a bouillon like Better Than Bouillon, which is what I'm using today. If you have a boxed vegetable stock brand that you love the flavor of, please tell me, I would really like to know. Or let me know how you solve this issue. While the soup is simmering for 10 minutes, we are going to make the other ingredient that makes this soup so creamy, which is a cashew cream, which is very simply just equal parts of water and cashews. If you haven't had cashews in vegan plant-based recipes before, they are sort of this wonder ingredient. In this ratio, they are mimicking finishing a soup with heavy cream, but if you added a little bit more water, it would be a little bit more like milk. You can play around with the ratios like that. So here we're gonna add just a little bit of olive oil too, for a little extra fat and flavor, and some salt and pepper. And by the way, those were just raw cashews that I put in there. I did not realize until Wil's recipe that you can make cashew cream without soaking your cashews beforehand if you are using a high-speed blender. If you don't have a high-speed blender, Wil recommends soaking them in water overnight just to make sure that they are as smooth as possible when they blend. Don't worry about any little bits that have flown up on the sides. Those are gonna blend smooth when the soup goes in. And also, I should mention that for my blender, a 1/4 cup of water is perfect for getting the cashews going, but if in yours they're not really moving around and getting creamy, you can add a little bit more water, it's fine. Now we are going to bring over our soup and blend it all smooth. Our soup simmered for 10 minutes, and just to be sure that all of the vegetables are tender and cooked through, I'm just gonna stab one of the potatoes with a fork to make sure it goes right through like butter. It does. So now we can blend our soup. So in this blender of mine, it just barely fits. If your blender is smaller and you are more than like 2/3 or 3/4 full, do it in batches because we don't want any hot soup overflow. You're gonna blend, it's very hot, so extremely important to take this middle thingy out of your blender so that there's a place for steam to escape. And then cover it with a kitchen towel. Wow, it looks so velvety smooth and it smells incredible, but there is just one more thing that we need to do, which is to saute those mushrooms that we sliced up earlier. So I'm just gonna cook those until they've softened, maybe a little bit golden, and we will mix our soup together. Let it simmer for about 10 minutes until it's thick and it's ready to eat. I simmered my soup until it's as creamy as I want it. If you want it even creamier, you can simmer it longer. If you want it less creamy, you can simmer it less time. It's up to you. And the way that Wil likes to garnish this soup is with some olive oil, some cracked black pepper, and if you like, a few of those sauteed mushrooms on top. Oh my gosh, so creamy. This soup is so good. It has so much umami, so much depth of flavor, and it's so creamy, especially for being a vegan soup. I absolutely love this recipe, and I love that you can take Wil's technique and make any soup creamy, whether it's vegan or not. Just to show you how that goes, stick around and I'm about to make my version of Wil's technique, which is a spicy, creamy artichoke soup.
That's kind of the beauty of making these kind of base recipes, basic versions of the recipes. because really you could replace the mushrooms with anything else, like a butternut squash, or even just potato leek soup. And most of the recipe would be congruent in terms of the onions and the garlic. The potatoes still could be used as part of that thickener in the cashew cream instead of heavy cream. So definitely very versatile and forgiving.
The first thing that we are doing is making these crispy roasted artichoke bits that are kind of the garnish. Whereas Wil's, we sauteed the mushrooms at the end, we're making the crispy bits here first. So I have some frozen artichoke hearts that I thawed with some warm water. In addition to the 1/4 cup of olive oil, I'm also giving it a good pinch of salt. I never would have thought that you could take a frozen or a canned ingredient and roast it and make it crispy, but I saw in Jenna Hamshaw's cookbook, The Vegan Week, that she roasts frozen broccoli straight from the freezer and it comes out crispy. As soon as it dries out in the oven, it's going to crisp. The spiciness comes from fresh poblano chilies. I'm just gonna roughly chop these because just like in Wil's recipe, you don't need to be precious about having a fine mince of anything. I am just going to nick out these little seed pods. I'm not gonna worry about getting all of the seeds out, but whatever you can shake out. And the thing about poblanos, just like any spicy chili, is that they vary a lot in their heat. So unfortunately, I can't predict exactly how spicy your soup is gonna be, but the one trick that will help that I learned from Roberto Santibáñez of the famous beloved Genius Guacamole is as you're chopping your chili, you can give it a sniff. Kind of bend down close, and if it tingles your nose, that means you've got a spicy pepper, and you can kind of adjust from there. Use less, use more. If you want more spice or less spice, the seeds are not the main thing that's gonna give you more or less spice. It's actually these white spongy ribs that carry most of the heat in any pepper. So if you want more heat, leave those white ribs in and don't worry too much about the seeds. If you want less heat, make sure to take the ribs out. A little spicy, not super spicy. Once again, just like with Wil's recipe, I'm gonna start with a couple tablespoons of olive oil and the roughly sliced onions and smashed garlic. Just like last time, we're gonna cook the onions and garlic for just a couple minutes until they turn golden and soften a little bit, and then we will add in all the rest of the vegetables, the poblanos, the frozen artichoke hearts, and the sliced and rinsed potato, and a little salt and pepper, and let those cook for a couple minutes. The major inspiration for this flavor combination in this soup, which is a combination of artichokes and green chilies, is from Duarte's Tavern. They opened in 1894. It's a tavern in a small fishing and farming community called Pescadero in California, and they are very famous for their two soups, cream of artichoke and a green chili soup. And if you can't decide, they will serve them to you half and half, swirled in the bowl. And it's really beautiful, these two shades of green kind of swirled like latte art. So I took the flavors of that soup and combined them into this one that is using Wil's technique as a base. So that's just gonna simmer for about 10 minutes, just until all the vegetables are nice and soft and they've given some of their flavor to the stock. Look at these beauties. Still kind of sizzly. I'm gonna sprinkle them with a little bit more salt. And these can just hang out until we are done making the soup. Raw cashews, water, drizzle of olive oil, and a little more salt and pepper. Okay, so we just finished blending this nice and smooth, and the very last thing is to add some lemon. I love lemon in everything, and it just brightens it up. You know, there's a lot of earthy flavors going on in here with the artichokes and the potato. It's just nice to kind of lift it up, and it goes really nicely with that spicy pepper too. That's why we cover with a towel. It's looking nice and thick and creamy. It's a lovely shade of green. You can grab as many of these crispy artichoke bits as you want, because obviously it makes a generous amount. But for now, I'm just gonna start with this. I'm just so happy that this recreates, at least in my memory, the flavors of those soups at Duarte's. The artichoke that has this kind of like indescribable, earthy, slightly funky flavor, and then the chili and the lemon just kind of brightening it up. And then, I mean, these crispy artichoke bits you could put on anything and be really happy, but they're a really nice contrast with that super creamy soup. And it just so happens to be completely vegan thanks to Wil's genius technique. Thank you so much to Wil Yeung for sharing this recipe with us. You can find him on the YouTube channel Yeung Man Cooking, and please check out his cookbook, Cook with Confidence. Also, special thanks to Food 52 community member Alejandra Mora, who tipped me off to this recipe. I never would have found it without her, and I'm so grateful. So if you have a genius recipe tip, please do send it to me. I would love to see it.